Patrick-Goudreau from joyfulvegan.com. Welcome to Vegan Point of View. Some people say just because you're vegan doesn't mean you're healthy. Vegans eat a lot of processed foods. Processed foods are killing people. Processed foods are evil. That's one point of view. Here's my point of view. First, we need to define what a processed food is. Technically speaking, a processed food is any food that has been washed, cleaned, cut, milled, chopped, heated, pasteurized, blanched, boiled, cooked, canned, jarred, frozen, mixed, blended, or packaged. Essentially, any food that is in any way altered from its whole natural state is considered a processed food. That means the orange juice you squeeze into a glass from a fresh orange is considered processed. It means the fresh blueberries you blend into a smoothie, or the fresh tomatoes your grandmother canned, or the fresh kale you dehydrate to make kale chips. These are all processed foods. And there's nothing wrong with any of these foods. Eating foods in their different states brings pleasure and variety to our lives. So for me, I make a distinction between minimally processed foods and highly processed foods. Because unless you're living in the jungle and just eating solely off of what grows on vines and trees and not even flavoring your food, even with spices or dried herbs, because those are also processed foods, we all eat processed foods. One of the reasons I think it's important to clarify this is because I often hear people excoriate veganism merely on the basis that there are commercial processed vegan products in the marketplace. And so I've seen people use this as a way to write off veganism or even vegetarianism altogether. I've even seen some people say things like, well, I went vegan and I thought I was doing a really good thing, but then I realized I was eating all of these fake processed foods, so I went back to eating animal products. There isn't one way to eat under this huge umbrella called vegan. Vegan is not a diet. The specific ways people choose to eat under this umbrella, the spectrum of the way people eat, these are diets. You can eat a no oil diet or a no sugar diet, all fruit diet or a no fruit diet, all whole foods, no soy, no wheat, only blue foods or no blue foods. These are diets. But to say veganism is flawed because you were eating highly processed foods seems disingenuous to me. The other thing that's interesting is that I've seen folks also lambast processed vegan foods as if there are no non-vegan processed foods, as if people aren't already eating processed foods in the non-vegan world. They often say, well, be careful about going vegan. All those processed vegan products out there, they don't compare to whole foods like vegetables and fruits and whole grains. Well, A, if you think there aren't a ton of highly processed foods in the non-vegan world, you're just kidding yourself. And B, let me tell you something. Most people, and most people are not vegan yet, are eating highly processed, packaged, fast food. They're eating a ton of meat, dairy, and eggs. So they're already making pretty poor choices. And to warn people off against veganism, lest they eat processed foods, makes no sense. And it does them, and the bigger picture, a great disservice. As non-vegans, they currently do have the choice to eat whole foods like vegetables and fruits and whole grains. But you know what most people are choosing? They're choosing meat, dairy, and eggs. So to act like people are eating in such a wholesome way until they start to consider veganism is simply not true. But of course, people often ask, well, are these products healthy? Are these highly processed vegan products healthy? The question I have to ask in response to that, someone who's transitioning to veganism and considering eating the processed vegan products, is compared to what? Compared to what you're eating now? Compared to hamburgers and hot dogs and bacon and ground turkeys and chicken nuggets and potato chips and roast beef, fried fish, raw fish, egg-laden salad dressing, soda, and cow's milk? Like, compared to that, yeah, this vegan chicken nugget is healthy. Compared to a bowl of blueberries, well, in terms of nutrient density, the blueberries are healthier. And that's the point. This is all relative. If you're looking at the nutrient density of whole pinto beans versus vegan chicken nuggets, of course the whole pinto beans win. But if you're looking at the nutrient density of a vegan chicken nugget versus a dead chicken who has been killed and defeathered and thrown into a chlorine bath to reduce salmonella poisoning, and whose body has been dismembered and shrink wrapped, you know what? The vegan chicken nugget wins every time. I treat more highly processed vegan foods as the convenience foods they are. I recommend them as transition foods, especially for new vegans. And I know they're smart enough to know what it means when I say make whole foods the foundation of your diet. It doesn't mean striving for perfection. It means eating an abundance of vegetables and fruits and grains and legumes and nuts and seeds and mushrooms and lentils, and making more highly processed vegan foods a smaller portion of your meals, if at all. Ultimately, this holier-than-thou attitude about processed vegan foods has become a red herring, in my opinion, and it distracts people from the real issues. The problems we're experiencing from a health, ethical, and environmental perspective are and continue to be the breeding, killing, and consumption of animals and their secretions. These are the ultimate in processed products. If the unappetizing process of turning live animals into isolated body parts and ground up chunks of flesh is ugly and bloody and violent, it's why no one wants to look at it. I'll take processed vegan food over that any day, but luckily those are not our only two choices. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please help me make the most of these videos by sharing them with friends and family. Give it a thumbs up below, and you can comment below as well. Subscribe to this channel below, and please support the production of these videos by becoming a supporter. You can do so by clicking right here. Check out the other Vegan Point of View episodes here on my channel, and you can also check out the Food for Thought podcast for lots more detailed information about this topic and more. And of course, all of this and more is at joyfulvegan.com. For the animals, this is Colleen, Patrick-Goudreau. Thanks for watching.